Traveling within Africa is unnecessarily convoluted. Flying is too expensive, the visa policies are restrictive, and incredible corruption levels exist at land borders. I recently traveled between Togo and Ghana, and the Aflao border has to be the worst I've experienced, or the second worst I've experienced in Africa. Here is what you should keep in mind if you plan to make the journey on your own. The first thing I noticed while planning my trip is there is a culture of bribery. As a Nigerian traveling within West Africa or Africa, there are negative stereotypes, but I feel the positive stereotypes are worse. Everybody expects you to have money, and why would you have money? You are Nigerian. Togo is a very skinny country, and the country size becomes more apparent when you realize that if you take the wrong turn or walk down the wrong street, you might end up in Ghana from the country's capital, Lome.
Ensure you subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the video so far. I'm sure you will not regret subscribing.
When I arrived at the border, as with most other borders in Africa, people swarmed me trying to help me cross and all. I was like, no. Eventually, some guy that wouldn't take no for an answer kept following me. And when we got to the first place, I already expected I would pay. Why wouldn't I pay? I'm a rich Nigerian, of course. I underestimated how set the prices are. We got to the first station and the immigration people were like 5,000. They were like, have you been to this border? I was like, yeah, my old passport. They were like, oh, 5,000 CFA. And I was like 12,000 naira, or I don't know, maybe $6-7. But it was just crazy. They did not take no for an answer, and they were not even interested in having a conversation. Like, you have two choices, either pay us or you go back. I hate that I have to pay for these things, but unfortunately, that's the cost of doing business in Africa, even if I have no business. After paying the 5,000 CFA to the first person in the Togolese side, I got stamped and I went to the Ghanaian side. Same thing, 15,000. Now, like, you and I know you guys have a price and blah, blah, blah. So I paid 5,000 again to the Ghanaians, which everybody that I've spoken to, even my Togolese friends in Lome, told me that these are the prices. They have set prices. After what can refer to as security theater, pretending to search my bag, the lady told me 20 cedis. I think that was like 1,000 CFA or like. And I had paid so much, I was already like the start of an horrible day for me. And every other person there that wasn't like a transport company paid it, and I just had to pay. I think it was 1,000 CFA or 20 cedis. They are once again set prices. I got stamped and I went into the general area. I changed the last bit of CFA I had on me, that was francs, and I thought that was all. On my way out, the lady told me that customs, and she wasn't even taking off for an answer. Another 20 cedis, aka 1,000 CFA. or 1,000 francs. I hope you're following because the price is really climbing at this point. And before I continue, shout out to Nigerian transport companies. I think that's why when it comes to competition, there really is no competition to Nigerian transport companies, because when you pay your fees in Lagos or wherever, there's a concierge service added to it. They handle all these things for you, and you give them your passport in Lagos, you get it back when you cross the border into your final destination. Shout out to that business model, because I've traveled a lot within West Africa and I've never witnessed this sort of foolishness before. When I got past the border, I went to the transport company I recognized the most, STC. It was one of the first you'd see, but if you've been in Ghana, you would know STC, especially if you travel beyond the capital. And I went to STC, they were like 80 cedis, which is like, I don't know the price in USD, like 8,000 naira. I paid for it. I was already having a bad day and I was not even in the mood for any conversations. I have been traveling across West Africa, so I had a very small, I think a standard carry-on luggage for airlines, and then they were like, I have to pay 10 extra cedis for that. It's just 10 cedis, but that was I don't know how to explain, but that just pushed me over the edge. I was like, give me my money back. I'm not even carrying a massive bag. Why are you charging me for this? And it was just like, yo, you guys are not tired of being horrible people. I eventually went to another transport company. I wouldn't say transport company, like a regular park where buses load. I paid 80 cedis and we waited. While we waited, the weather was very, very grim, and during the trip it started raining. It is what it is. Eventually I arrived in Accra, a very tired and angry man. It was already dark. It gets darker earlier in Ghana because of the time zone differences. But if you must travel within these countries, I would say go with the transport company for your mental health. I would be lying if I said the money did not matter, but it was just how there was a culture, everything was standardized. The corruption had eaten so deeply into the system that there's a price for everything.